What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Today, we got a brother on, Mr. Freeze. He's from my city. I spent a little time with him in the jail, ran into him. I think he was there when I got sentenced to 40 years. He ended up going to federal prison, spent some time in state prison. But he is the dude that you may have seen on the shorts, doing them pull-ups and all of that. He's got a little workout program. He's getting ready to put out some workout videos. So anyway, we're going to talk to him about his experiences, about his life, and about what he's doing now. Freeze, tell the people who you are and tell them where you're from, brother.
Salute. First of all, big thanks to you for bringing me on the TV with you. I'm from Rochester, New York, 41 years old. Grew up on the west side of Rochester. Real rough upbringing, you know what I mean? Seen a few things here and there. But for the most part, I made a negative situation into a positive situation through all my ordeals.
And I know you ended up going to state prison when you were younger, right?
Yes, sir.
How much time did you do in the state prison system?
I did a total of 2.5 years in the state prison system, mixed up between drug treatment programs, shock camps, receptions, and things of that nature. Nothing real concrete, but just being away and being within that system, it already started to take precedent.
You also ended up in federal prison, correct?
That's correct.
How much time did you get sentenced to?
They gave me 87 to 108 months. So they gave me the low end. I gave them 6 months halfway house. And I ended up walking them down, coming up off that, just changing my life, doing things that were conducive to what I learned while being away from my family and being away from society.
When did the whole workout thing start?
Believe it or not, the whole workout thing started, and I was about 8 years old. That's when it really started with movement and martial arts and things of that nature. Then that trickled to track and field, basketball. But I really got serious when I first started going to the state around 18. That's when I started really getting into what was going on with my body. I was a smaller guy. I wanted to gain weight. I wanted to do certain things. So I kind of locked in around 18.
And I know you end up in federal prison. What do you go to federal prison for, brother?
Guns, man. Guns. Interstate commerce. Interstate commerce to get you. You know what I mean? Bringing a gun through interstate lines is going federal, especially if you got a felony. I was already backed up with a gang of felonies, so it was going to automatically go state because of how the whole situation transpired with me and my Golden families.
You mean it was going to go feds? It wasn't going to be in the state no more, right?
Yeah, it was definitely going to go federal because it was all federal grounds. It was on federal grounds when we did it, and it was through interstate commerce. Actually making money, though.
You know, some people don't realize, man, that Rochester, New York is one of the most dangerous cities in the country. You grew up on the west side, right?
Correct.
What was it like for you, man, growing up on the west side? What was your neighborhood like? Tell the people. You can tell them better than I can.
Man, I grew up in the slums, man. Like the ratchet, the rats, the roaches, the you hearing the gunshots, and it was crazy. It's been crazy since I was a youth, and it's only gotten worse. Like this was an everyday thing. You would hear certain things right in your own backyard. I got a cousin that was murdered, a couple cousins that been in certain things and certain situations. So when it's in your backyard, it's real. And it's so small. So you're hearing everything, you're seeing everything, or somebody's family member is into something because it's just that small. So it was pretty rough coming up.
Where'd you live at on the west side?
I was Columbia Avenue is where I grew up at. Then it was Post Avenue and Chili Avenue.
So over there on Chili and all of that, right? I mean, have you actually witnessed violence on that side of the city?
Of course I have. Of course I have. Like, I've lost some of the closest friends I had to violence. Not in my face, but I could have been down the street. More or less, recently. I lost a good friend over there in front of his wife and kid. You know what I mean? And it's like, you hear of these things, but everybody doesn't mourn the same way. So a lot of the things that I took as losses, I kept dear, but, it's crazy. Backyard things every day,
When you talk about you lost a friend in front of his wife and his kids, man, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, man, he was, his brother's a well-renowned rapper. We kind of grew up seeing him in the hood, doing his thing, always out the way, though. You know what I'm saying? So basically, when it happened, it was like left field. You wouldn't think that it would happen to someone like that, especially in front of your wife and your kid. And, it's just the code of the street. It's not the code of the street no more. There is no ethics. There is no honor. You know what I mean? It's more so if I see you, I see you. It don't matter about the wife and kid and things of that nature. So that one kind of hit home, because I literally grew up with son like, yo, right there. Yo, what's good, B? You know what I mean? Every day you see it. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you're talking about. Wasn't he outside like barbecuing or something?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the bro. Like, real talk, Chad. Like, the bro. You know what I mean? So it was more so when that happened, it was like, damn, anything could happen out here. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with his brother being a rapper and all of that, right?
So it was more like, I seen them before all that. I was one of those guys that was like, yeah, we was right there on the porch. I seen, you know what I mean, the evolution, and then now this,
Was he allegedly still in the street, or was he just a family man?
Being honest, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Me being me knowing the individual, I'm sure. You see what I'm saying? I don't know why it's so hard for my guys in the 585 to let certain things go. But at the end of the day, it's no end to that. You know the outcome of that shit. If you have just a small inkling of involvement in anything because of jealousy, because of the outer perception, all those things that people don't think about. Okay, if I'm linked to this individual, oh yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that right there puts you in a pool of the bullshit, even if you are a family man. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's definitely like the Wild Wild West, man. When I went to jail, I said people would, they shoot you at nighttime. Now they shoot you during the day. Cameras on the. It don't matter. They got cameras out there and they don't even care.
Yeah, you hearing drive-by shootings now, man. You didn't even hear, you know what I mean? It's different. Like now, they just off the chain with no real OGs no more really getting into these individuals' ears. So that's why I try to bring what I brought. I was in the parks, like hearing things, and yeah, I'm in the parks with this. I wasn't in a facility. I was in parks every day. And I think it was around me, so.
I hear you. I mean, when you say parks, I want the people to know, man, you're out there working out, training people. You're out in the park. Some of the homeboys over there working out. Everybody shows up at the park when it's nice out. Man, I'm doing a couple pull-ups. But they ain't doing pull-ups like you're doing pull-ups. You know what I mean?
Sure. Everybody doesn't really deal with the wintertime. Everybody doesn't have the discipline to say, all right, look, I want to see what's at the end of the door. I don't want to just open the door when it's season. I want to see what it looks like 10, 15, 20 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do it for the look. I know the look comes with it. I know the genetic background I come from. I know genetic risk factors, things of that nature. So I do it more so for health and wellness, knowing that this is going to come with it regardless. But your insides change before the outside comes,
I hear you. We're going to get into that in a second. Let me ask you this, though. You end up going to federal prison. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of time, but you don't have a little bit of time either. I mean, that's a stretch. When you walk into federal prison, how old are you?
23 years old, man.
What is your focus at 23 years old, walking into federal prison? What are you thinking? Are you like, damn, man?
Seeing as though I was already going in and out the state, I had a lot of OGs that I talked to, even though I kept like fucking up. I was more so I'm prepared for this shit. It happened. I counted the numbers a million times because, they do the months in the Fed, so that kind of threw me off when I got sentenced. I'm doing this in my head. I'm like, summer, winter, summer, winter, summer, winter. So my thought was like, I got to get everything up out of here. Whatever happens in my face, I got to handle it. But at the end of the day, when I walk up out of here, I got to do some shit different because I've been going back and forth since 16. You know what I mean? It's like I spent a third of my life between the system. You know what I mean? So when I went in there, it wasn't go mode. It was already, I knew in my head, yeah, I'm going to go. But at the end of the day, it was not, I'm not going to put violence and I'm not going to keep the street shit in front of me. I'm going to try to get something out of this. That's what I did.
When you're young, right? I mean, we just talked about how dangerous this city is. It seems like everybody's got a gun on them nowadays. When you were, selling guns back then, what were you thinking in your mind? Were you like, man, I'm about to get rich doing this shit?
I knew I was going to prison, Chad. The second I hit the lick, I knew I was gone. It was just entirely too many firearms for somebody not to get caught or someone not to tell. You know what I'm saying? Once they did get caught. So once it happened and I'm with my cousin and I'm seeing like, okay, yeah, they doing bullshit. They just out there just doing whatever. I already knew. So it was just a state of preparedness. Like, all right, when they come, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And you and I both know how the feds work, King. I didn't get caught with one firearm and still did 7 years.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the lick, right? You said you hit a lick. What happened? The people are gonna be like, what does he mean? They want you to tell them.
Well, it was already orchestrated to the point where all I had to do was just come in and just get the materials from the freight guy. Me not knowing what was on this pallet, I'm going in there and I'm doing access because it's between me and my family. We already got this established. He told me to come take care of this. I'm going to come take care of it. Once we bust it open, this is what it is, Chad. I'm going to, like, literally, did not know. Like, I'm coming in. Apparently, he knew already. I come in, I'm going to bust them open. This is what it is. But it was for the ATF agents at the time in the town. So we hit a lick that was coming for law enforcement. So they were all on it.
And that's what I want to talk about, right? So there's a shipment coming in that's going to the ATF agents. Your cousin gets the up. Where's this at? Is this at the post office? Is this at Walmart? Where's this coming from?
Yellow Freight, man. I guess it's a freight company out there that runs freight. You know what I mean? Like, he was working there already. I'm in the street doing what I'm doing and minding my business, but he called me. I'm going, I'm on go. You know what I mean? So it was more so, who can I bring in here that's going, you know what I mean? Shut the fuck up, basically. But it ain't end up going like that. But
so listen, let's talk about that for a minute. ATF, they got a shipment coming. Your cousin's working at the freight company. He sees the paperwork. He knows it's coming. He sends you in, I'm working here. You just go ahead and, grab these joints and we're out of here. How many do you end up with?
7, between 40 cal compacts, 45s, 9mm, and 22 Rugers. All Heckler and Koch.
So it's only 7 guns, right?
70.
Oh, 70. I'm like, holy damn. Yeah, 70. They was definitely out to get you.
Yeah.
So when do you find out that all this shit belongs to the ATF?
Well, the way my cousin explained it, they pulled up on his father ASAP. It wasn't nobody in RPD though. You see what I'm saying? They pulled up at Yellow, basically on his father's ass. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit rolled downhill.
So let's talk about that. How do you guys end up getting busted? Does his father say, yo, man, I ain't got nothing to do with this?
One of the cats that apparently he sold one of the firearms to, fronting at the club down there, somebody seen him tuck the gun and all that, never scratched the serial number. So got back with the gun, they run the numbers, case is over. They ain't have none of the fingerprints or seeing somebody going there. None of my codies has said nothing yet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Caught this dude, press him, where'd you get it from? Gave up my cousin. Now it's coming. Still continuing to come now. So now it's coming back around in the circle.
It's like dominoes. There's a lot of young dudes out there that might be listening to this video and they don't realize, man, some people might think, man, 7 years, man, that ain't. But when you got 70 of them things, right, and you're selling them, what was the price?
Man, 800, 1200, 2-3 pounds head. You know what I mean? They were so thirsty, everybody at that time really needed real protection. So it was like, with me, I'm cooling. My boys over here, my cousins, they going crazy because they never seen no shit like that. You see what I'm saying? I go in there, I'm getting there, I got a case to the face. I went and got everything. I got a case to the face. I'm doing it right, though. You see what I'm saying? Nobody I dealt with their time behind me, child. Like, now I'm on national, I can really say it because the case over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody did time behind. When I went in there, grabbed my joints, set out my guys, none of my guys, you know what I'm saying? But on their end, I didn't know who they was dealing with, bro. You see what I'm saying? So once it started coming back around, I'm like, damn, yeah, they about to smoke me. Because I'm sitting, I ain't saying shit until, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, right? And this was the moral of it, right? Let's say there's 70 of them. You drop them at the most. There's about 70 grand to come out of it at the most. Because some of them are going for 3, 4. Some people are selling them fast. It wasn't worth 7 years of your life. That's what I'm asking.
At all. At all, King. You know what I mean? That was just that loyalty within me. Doing something, doing a solid for family. I was real big on family. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so pulling up, doing a solid for my family. But it was also my mistake too, because bringing the individuals in, thinking they was going to stand up and they didn't, that falls on me too. So I took acceptance of responsibility, not only for the court system, but for me bringing the bullshit in when I was living that life. Because if I would have just went by myself, who else was going to come around and tell them? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking like that. So not saying that I'm glorifying that life, but it's the real. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, if I wouldn't have included this person, I was just listening to Cuz, probably wouldn't have came back on Cuz, it probably wouldn't. But I also put myself in the pool of pulling down that responsibility. Just standing up, being solid to self. Not even glorifying the street, just being solid to self. Like, bro, you doing too much. You was in the way. What you do that for? Like, you know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. When you found out that it was the ATF, that stuff belonged to them, what were you thinking at that point? Were you scared, nervous?
Chad, I got missed. I got on the run. I was like yeah, it's over, man. I ain't about to be over here at Auntie crib and I got missing. And lo and behold, I was down when Midtown Mall was open. I was down in Midtown Mall and I seen one of the guys that my cuz spotted. When I left, they had Fight Village surrounded 40 minutes later. It was almost like they had let him out. You know what I'm saying? And he seen me and he got on the jack because 40 minutes later, bro, they had Fight Village surrounded, pulling me out. Nobody knew where I was, though.
Were you living in Fight Village back then?
Nah. Like, I was just pulled up at my guy's crib. Yo, look, this the bop, bop, bop. And that's what it was. It wasn't no questions asked. My guy. Pulled me in. You know I ain't about to be coming out. Yo, y'all go to the store. It was already in my head. I'm like thinking of a plan when I move to Fight Village. Wherever I'm going. But it ain't transpired like that.
I had a couple friends that lived in Fight Village I used to box with over there at Avenue D, St. Martin's.
Okay.
So I'm familiar. What about the square? You know anybody from the square?
Well, not personally. You know, I did more West Side, more to have guys who were into the athletics, the basketball and stuff like that. I wasn't really, believe it or not, heavy in the street, man. I really, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I grew up around a lot of cats that was doing their thing, but I was kind of a loner, if that makes sense. But I wasn't the dude to play with either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really trying to glorify or be something I'm not, but I wasn't like part of this, okay, this get money or these shooters, or it wasn't nothing like that. It was, yeah, I know all these cats. Just on either the strength of my dad, the strength of some family members, or just me being a hooper. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I got that pool of knowing who was who around Rochester.
No doubt. You know, sometimes it's the quiet guys that can be the most dangerous if they have to be. You're a gentleman, but you can be a gangster if you have to be.
Absolutely.
So now I know, you end up getting out of prison and all of that, but a little bit more on the prison stuff, right? See any violence in there? Anything that made you be like, damn, man, I definitely don't want to live this life?
I've seen a couple cats in the low get poked up. Seen Lock in the Sock a couple times. Dudes fucking around with those books, getting their head split about them books. That was regular. Even in the low, you know what I mean? Where they telling at the all-time high. Dudes wasn't playing. Dude come in there, he done got max time, he done dropped it and worked his way to a low and you violate. Oh yeah, they getting at you. I done seen a bunch of that, you know.
Do you think any of that stuff ever affected you or make you be like, man, I'm definitely not going to live this life?
I kind of seen a lot of that shit before I went to prison. So it was regular already. You see what I'm saying? You seeing own cousins getting it in and split, so coming up as a youth, that was normal. That's regular shit coming from the rock. Like, where I'm from, I can't speak for everybody else, but where I came up at, that was regular. Seeing black moms, seeing a family that was G-boys, and I seen all that. You know what I mean?
I mean, you were around back then. G-boys, black mob.
Yeah.
I mean, there were dangerous dudes over there back then, right?
They were different, man. Like, so it was like coming up seeing just without the gun violence, just seeing someone getting hit with an object and opened up, and yeah, that was normal. So going in there, seeing somebody get poked up, seeing it like, damn, that's crazy, but on to the next day, you know. So I can't say that it traumatized me. I probably was already traumatized, so it made it kind of a, okay, like, you know what I mean. So
Let me ask you this, Freeze, right? You know, when you get to prison and you're from Rochester, right? You're in a low, if you're in New York State, I don't care what color you are, what race you are. It seems like all the Rochester dudes are like our own gang. We all stick together, right?
it was more so that, but where I was from, where I was at, we had the paperwork parties. Like a lot of cats ain't rock with niggas who did the whole burning somebody up, getting them life and all that. Like, yeah, it's cool to rock because it's only a select few of you. But where do you draw the line as a man on what you stand on too, though? You know what I mean? So for the most part, yeah, they were together. They had the rock car. Everybody had their little affiliates from different cities and all that. But like, where do you draw the line? I'm just about to be 7 deep with y'all, and y'all out here getting cats like, nah, I take my chances sometimes. May
No,
not be like that in the maxes though. You know what I mean? But in the low key, nah, like everybody was.
let me ask you this. Let's go to New York State prison first. In New York State prison, you know, back then everybody pretty much stuck together, right? Because I was in Comstock. You know, I've been in Attica. I've been in some crazy places. But it seemed like everyone from Rochester stuck together. When you're in the penitentiary, there ain't a whole lot of dudes from Rochester, but, you know, 5, 6 dudes. Usually you stick together. FCI Raybrook, all the Rochester dudes stuck together.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a different story when you get to the lower security prisons. So I understand that. But the thing for me is this, right? And this is where I was going with it. So many dudes from Rochester, we stick together, man, but we're out here in the streets killing each other. But as soon as we go to prison, we're like, yo, what's up, yo? You already know what it is. You're from the town, yo. And you know, that's how it works. But I just think it's mind-boggling, man, that we're running around here killing each other. But yet when we end up in prison, man, we're all cool.
No, sir. I've seen it a million times. You see people beefing in prison. I mean, beefing in the street, come out here, gunning at each other. You know what I mean? How does that even work? Or you grow up with somebody, how y'all end up really beefing with each other and doing like I've never wanted to include a person in my cipher and then I have to fall out with you. That's why I was real big on family. Whether we were blood connected or not, nah, if you're my friend, you're gonna have to get rid of me because I'm never gonna do nothing to cross you. You know what I mean? So that was more of how I probably survived through prison too, not getting into a lot of stuff. My morals were different. I'm not gonna do backdoor stuff for that brief moment. I done already caught 7 years. What I'm gonna come out here and keep? You know, somebody had that bad phone call there. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you do something, nah. So my morals were different.
So let me ask you this, right? Now you're out. How long you been home?
Been home going on 12 years, man.
And ain't never going back.
Never seen another cop. I haven't seen a cop since I walked out the doors, man. Not going back. Like I've gotten to the point where they even know.
And I know you were in Rochester, you were training people, and then COVID hit, that kind of hurt you a little bit, right?
Yes, sir. I had a lot of older clients. I had a lot of clients that were, you know, they did the whole corporate thing in the 9 to 5. So when COVID hit, everybody's like, oh no, I got to separate from the gym because the most bacteria and viruses come from the gym. And so that kind of hit me pretty hard. You know, they shut down the parks when COVID hit, so I wasn't allowed to go to the parks and things of that nature. And I had kind of built my hub around taking people outside, you know, getting them introduced to oxygen and the importance of it. So yeah, it hit me pretty hard, real hard, man.
And I know you ended up relocating. You're in Carolina now,
Yes, sir.
and you're starting to put your stuff together. I think you might be putting out some videos soon, some workout videos, and I'm gonna promote them for you, man, because I want you to do good. I just want you to, man. You deserve it, man. You're an intelligent brother. You know, you're out here helping people, helping the community, helping young brothers. I see you. I see you on Facebook all the time, talking to youngsters, getting them working out. And you know what, man? I salute you for that.
I appreciate that.
So talk a little bit about what you're doing now in Carolina.
So pretty much down here in Carolina, it's still kind of cold. So, in the South, they don't really adapt to the cold. But as it gets warm, I'm basically doing the same thing I did in Rochester. I'm trying to get the young kids and the individuals with no activity in their life just to show them the basis of what you can be without a gym. You know what I mean? Just moving your limbs alone can get you strong. I try to stress to individuals, I don't lift weights and I look like this. This is how I know my university online is conclusive evidence. If I can do it with my body type, anybody can do it. So that's basically what I'm bringing in North Carolina. Step-by-step program, though. Not something where I'm saying, hey, you can get on a bar and do this like me. No, I can show you how to do it step by step so you naturally progress to that. But think about it. A lot of people aren't willing to stop and put in that work to actually see what can become.
Are you schooling the young dudes, man? Trying to keep them out of the street?
Chad, every day I work, but the whole line I work with are young kids, troubled kids, kids on Facebook doing X, Y, and Z and don't know what a federal case is. They don't understand guidance or a piece of advice. Every day I'm doing this. Every day my inbox is full with thank you for this type of advice, or the way I may have spoken. Thank you for a reason, because I was that young kid, Chad.
No doubt.
That misguided young kid as a youth. So in my adult years, I didn't want to listen to nobody. Nobody taught it right from wrong, so I'm going to do it my way. And I see this every day. So every day I'm schooling the youth. I don't care if it's a quote, a workout to try to get them to move, something as real as saying, make your bed in the morning. Challenge yourself to do something different. You know what I mean? Whatever it is to empower these children, I'm all for it. Why? Because that was me.
No doubt. So, you know what, man? I definitely appreciate you. I know you're in Charlotte. If people want to hit you up, man, I'm going to post your stuff on the community page right after this video goes up so they can reach out to you on Facebook. People looking for a personal trainer. You're that dude, bro. I mean, I'm not, I'm just calling it what it is. I think that you're a hell of a dude, man, and your workout's insane. So I'll post all your stuff up, man. Hopefully you get some videos together soon and you get that stuff out. Let me know. I'm going to post that. But before we go, right? I mean, I feel like I have a little bit of a connection with you, man. We're from the same city. You were there when I got sentenced. I ended up with 40 years. But before we go, what message would you give to the youngsters in Charlotte? Or what message would you give to the young dudes in Rochester or Chicago or Texas? What would you tell them?
Like I've been saying for the last decade, I really feel like every young man or every young woman, even adults, do your most extensive research on yourself. Not just the good, also the bad. Look into who you are. Look at your shortcomings. And from there, you build your life. You know what I mean? Like me, I put everything on the table. Oh, look, these are my weaknesses. These are my strengths. I know if I work on these weaknesses, I become strong. A lot of us as young men, older men, we're not really with the constructive criticism. So I say to all my young men, be able to absorb something you can't see, because we're so going forward, we can't see where we're going and making these mistakes. So I say do your most extensive research on yourself. Once again, it's okay to listen to someone. It's okay to take advice from someone and use your booklet along with that advice, and you flourish. So that's my advice to the young kings. It's like, like I said, there's no guidance anymore. So if I can't get you to see yourself, how can I guide you?
Wow. That's deep, man. If I can't get you to see yourself, how can I guide you?
How?
I want that to resonate with people, man. Maybe people will think about that. Got to get to know who you are first, right?
So Father G, I call it, King.
That's what's up. So listen, man, I'm going to get ready to close the show, man. Let you know I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, your experience, your words of wisdom, man. Definitely, man, appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you, Chad. I appreciate you for having me.
No doubt. I hope someone listens in, and maybe this is the one that says, you know what, man, I need to get my life together. But I'm going to tell the people, if you like what we're doing, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video with respect. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.